I was very disappointed to see that the proposal for the 76 AD would eliminate the island and redistrict it to Queens, to the Assembly District there. But you have my strong commitment that I'm committed to fighting alongside constituents to keep the island where it belongs. And that is where it is right now in the 76th. So again, I want to thank you all for speaking up and attending, and for Joyce, a dear friend, for organizing and hosting this tonight. Roosevelt Islanders were so powerful in their testimony during the New York City Council districting process that I believe together we can make an unequivocally strong argument to keep Manhattan's Roosevelt Island with our Manhattan Assembly District. As many of you know, the process for state redistricting requires rigorous scrutiny, consistent with a process that ensures fairness, provides a platform for all voices, and carefully reviews all options. The next step are a series of public hearings around the state. And as you know, the hearing in Manhattan is February 7th at Hunter College, Danny Kaye Playhouse. I want to encourage and urge all of my constituents to share their views by testifying in person or submitting comments to the commission directly at www.nyirc.gov/participate. Just as background, at 4 p.m. on that Tuesday, February 7th, unfortunately, I'll be voting at the state capitol in Albany, and I won't get to attend it live, but will be submitting my comments and having staff cover it. After obtaining public input, the process is the commission may revise the maps and submit them to the legislature for approval. The deadline for the commission to submit this final map to the state legislature is April 28th, 2023. And I am confident that we're going to keep Roosevelt Island in the 76 AD. The Democrats hold the majority in the state assembly. And our speaker has historically worked well with the opposite side in giving them what they want, because we do control the majority in the assembly. So I think that we will keep Roosevelt Island in the district. However, we should not take anything for granted. And that's why I encourage all of you to attend and speak up. If you can't attend in person, then submit your comments in writing to the February 7th public hearing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for all that you do for Roosevelt Island, and for this effort. And we're behind you 100%, and look forward to the same success that we enjoyed. If we do nothing, nothing happens. You need our backing, and we're here to back you and make it happen so that you remain our assembly person in the future.
Well, thank you very much, Joyce. And just a side note, I was recently appointed to a leadership position as chair of the Committee on People with Disabilities. And given the makeup of Roosevelt Island, this is a very special committee to me. We'll be having hearings on the budget and fighting for resources to increase $15 million for post-secondary education for people with disabilities, as well as increasing the pay for home care attendants, and also so that special ed teachers make the same as their counterparts in the main population. So we have a lot that we're fighting for. On February 6th is People with Disabilities Advocacy Day in Albany at the state capitol. So I want to invite you all to come up. Additionally, for the anniversary of Roe versus Wade, I'll be debating the Equal Rights Amendment bill. We passed it in July. It requires a second passage, and that will be on January 24th, which is Planned Parenthood Action Day. It's great to see Dr. Catherine Grimm and others, dear friends, on this tonight. Again, I want to thank you for your activism, for being a loud voice on this subject. And I see Faye Christian's name there at the bottom. Maybe REOC will be willing to put this on their website, the February 7th hearing, as a public service announcement, the hearing, so that if people do need additional details, they can always pop on to that website. We'll have it on our website as well. But again, I want to wish you all a good meeting tonight, and thank you for having me on.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I know you have to get off to another meeting, so we really appreciate
Multiple
taking the
Zooms
time.
tonight. Thank you all.
Thank you. I think you all got your agendas. I wanted to clear up some myths, even if they're not of concern to you. You may hear this from other people in the community. And so I want to make sure that everybody knows, how to properly respond when you hear this kind of nonsense coming from members of the community. First of all, this is not a direct hit on Roosevelt Island. This is not, simply legislators trying to zing it to Roosevelt Island. In June, the appellate court determined that the Democrats had gerrymandered, which is unconstitutional, and that they had to redraw the lines. And it was given to a group of people, I believe at Carnegie Mellon, who know nothing really about Roosevelt Island. And so this is really a balancing the numbers act. And what we have to get across to the commission is that we're not just numbers, we're real people and we have real needs, and they have to address those real needs. So on December 1st, the commission introduced its plan and opened our eyes to the fact that we're being drop kicked to Queens again, like they did with the council seats. So people are often going to come up with this nonsense about the zip code's going to change and the area code's going to change and the school district's going to change. None of that is going to change. We are a Manhattan Island. We're a Manhattan Island by city charter, and that doesn't change no matter what the districting says. So those are some of the myths that you're going to hear. And I want to cover what's important and why it's important. So there are 4 things that are basically statutory in this process. They're the regulations that the committee has to abide by in determining how to redistrict. And these are the 4. I've posted 2 of them on the information that I've sent out, but actually there are 4 of them. And so I'm going to read to you what all 4 of those things are. One is that they have to have numbers in each district that are to the best of their ability equal from district to district. The next is that the territory has to be contiguous. Now, contiguous does not necessarily mean your next door neighbor. Contiguous can mean, and oftentimes contiguous is determined by how easy it is to get to the office of the person that's representing you. If it's going to create a hardship on your population to get where you need to be in order to get the help that you need, then that really puts a burden on the people in the district. And also that the district has to be as compact as possible. And I'm sure if you look at the map that they've redrawn for the 36th AD, you could certainly not call that compact. It can't favor or disfavor our incumbent, right? This is not a political decision per se, although it has to do with the politics of running of voting. The aim is to try to make this decision about the territory a non-partial determination in terms of the politics of the district. Also, we have to maintain the pre-existing political subdivisions, including counties, cities, towns, and communities of interest. So now, obviously, we are in the borough, and this doesn't call for boroughs, but our town, our city is divided into boroughs. And in order for this particular draft to prevail, they would have to be crossing over into, they would have to cross us over into another borough. And so we can argue it on that basis, that this crosses the line into other boroughs. It also, more importantly, it actually separates us from many communities of interest. One of the most relevant communities of interest happens to be our school. Our school is only available to actually a small volume of the children on Roosevelt Island. In the 3K and 2K, we only have 15 seats for 3K children, and we only have 36 seats for 2K children. All the rest of them fall under District 2 in Manhattan, most of which is in Assembly District 76. In addition, the default school for our kids that don't go to don't go to PSIS 217, and that's most of our middle school children. Okay, our middle school only has 36 seats for the 6th grade, 36 seats for the 7th grade, and 36 seats for the 8th grade. So all of our children beyond those 36 children, their default school is Robert Wagner on 76th Street. So this is decidedly disturbing or creating a disturbance or a separation in a very, very important and relevant community of interest. A lot of people here attend religious, they go to churches or temples or mosques that are off island, and we'd be separating those communities of interest. There are a number of communities of interest that I listed on the webpage that all of you have been very, very good at using in the comments that you've been sending in to the district. So that's basically, the reason that we're focusing on these communities of interest is because it causes the commission to understand that they're not abiding by the regulations having to do with how they go about redistricting. And those statutory regulations are the biggest impasse or hurdle for them. And it's necessary for them to abide by keeping our communities of interest intact. So we can see a lot of things about Roosevelt Island, a lot of good things about Roosevelt Island and why, we have a preference for it, but the statutory issues are the most relevant and important when we're dealing with actually making the kinds of changes that we need to see made on that district map. So moving over to organizing our troops. Next week, we're going to have an actual in-person meeting. Andrea, are you still with me? Can you unmute yourself?
Yes.
Are we going to be able to use the community center next Thursday?
Yes, I don't think there's going to be a problem with that at all. I'm waiting to hear just to get the thumbs up on that. So I don't think that's going to be an issue at all.
So next Thursday, we're going to have Paul Crickler with us, and he's going to speak on, how we get the important issues across to the commissioners when we're there and speaking in front of them at the hearing. We want to be as on point as possible. We want to hit the important issues, and we want to make sure that they understand that we're emphatically supporting those important issues. So we don't want to look like we're crazy, but we want to make some noise. And so we're going to organize that noise, doing things like all dressing in red, like we did for the council hearing, is helpful, because then we look people can see that we're a mass of people and that we're united. So wearing something red. Linda, I love your red shirt that you have on there.
Thank you.
We'll have that at our February 7th meeting. So can I see a show of hands of how many of you are actually planning on being at the February 7th hearing? Keep in mind, you don't have to be a speaker. You can be there as a cheerleader, or you can be there as a speaker, whichever one you choose. But if you're thinking of being at the meeting, can you please raise your hand in a way that I can actually count you? So I can count hands. 1, 2, 1. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Susie Del Campo isn't here with us right this minute, but we're going to try and organize our Girl Scouts. Susie, I think that your ears must have been ringing because I was just talking about how we are going to get the kids involved in coming to the February the 7th hearing and making some noise on behalf of the community of interest having to do with the school. So thanks for being here this evening.
Good evening, everybody. Sorry to being so late. Mom duties. Yes, about children in the meeting. It's still not a fact that there will be children in the meeting because we have to send the word out and have the parents agree to it and have them present in the meeting with their kids. So I will try my best to be able to gather 5th graders or middle schoolers or even high schoolers to see if they can come to the meeting to speak in our behalf, because in their behalf, but it's going to be complicated. So if all the ones that are here in this meeting can spread the word to parents that in Roosevelt Island and let them know what they need to do and what their kids should do for this meeting, it will be great, because I cannot cover all the families, but we're a group and we can tackle this together.
Sure, and we're going to have an in-person meeting next week on Thursday, and I'd like to have the kids there. Keep in mind also there are other groups with kids. I have kids with NYJTL that I can tap also. And Christy Towie has kids with the Main Street Theater that she can tap. So keep us informed about how you're coming with bringing kids to the event. Anybody else have a question for me, or for anybody, or a comment, or a suggestion? We like all those things. Okay, so for you folks that are planning on being at the hearing on February 7th, please try and make it to the meeting next week on next Thursday at the Senior Center at 7. And unless anybody else has anything else to add, I think we're adjourned.
Okay, so I think you answered my question. So the February meeting and then the one next week at the Senior Citizen at 7.
Yes.
Okay, and then the one on the 7th is at what time?
It's at 4 o'clock. The last one, the one that we did at the for the city, we were actually able to ask for a specific time, which none of us actually got, but at least they went in a specific order. We really don't know at this point because there's no time frame that you can secure when you make that request. And so it's important that everybody be there so that we can be seated and be there and sit as a group when the meeting starts at 4 o'clock. Hi, Ellen. Thanks for coming. Hi. Unfortunately, we're just kind of winding down. We've been through pretty much everything, including the fact that we're going to have another meeting on Thursday. That's an in-person meeting where we're going to go over how we address the commission when we're having that hearing. And Yeah, all the things that people need to know. Paul Kirkler is going to speak about how to present information to the members of the committee, and we're going to organize everybody then.
I have a suggestion, Joyce.
Yes.
So tomorrow there's a PTA meeting for PSIS 217 at 8:30 in the morning. And as I think that because they receive public money from REOC, the meeting is open to everyone. But I think that the parents should be aware of what is happening, what is needed to be done, so our school can keep getting supported and can keep getting money.
So now this meeting is at 8:30.
Yes,
Do you have a link to the meeting that you can send me?
it's in person. It's not online.
Are you going to be there, Faye?
Yes, I'll be there.
Mandana knows because she answered my email. You read it. She gave me the information needed. She knows what is at stake. So the new district that they want to put us in Queens,
Shirley.
schools are failing, and the schools are in greater need of any kind of money or support than us. So we will be the rich school.
Yes.
Now the PTA and the school are needed to replace restrooms. Yes.
Okay, but I'll make it to the meeting. It's over at the school, right? It's in the auditorium.
Yes. 8:30.
Yeah.
I the cafeteria or the auditorium, but you will see us there outside. You will see a lot of parents, and then they will let us in.
Yeah.
You just have to bring the vaccination card,
Okay.
in form, and a face mask. That's it.
Sure. Vaccination card. What was the second thing?
Vaccination card, ID, and a face mask.
Okay. Ellen, are you still here in New York?
For today. I'm leaving tomorrow.
You are.
I'm not going to be here, unfortunately, on Thursday. I will be back for the 7th, though.
Okay, super. Excellent.
And I'll make a sign, at least one sign, maybe more.
Good. Andrea, how are the signs coming?
They're coming along fine. Thank you for the tips. We should have about 16 or 18 of them.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else have anything they want to bring up? That was a very good suggestion, Susie. I appreciate it, and I will be there.
There's clearly a distinction between what is important from the standpoint of the whatever the statutory requirement is, and the political importance of being part of Manhattan and being represented by Seawright and not having our representation change and all of that. And it seems to me that while we need to, from the standpoint of getting what we want to get done, that clearly we need to know you do use this communities of interest and so forth and so on. But from the standpoint of motivating people's participation, I think we can't lose sight of the political importance.
And political subdivisions are a factor in communities of interest.
No,
Roosevelt Island is governed by the state of New York. So we have to have all three of our legislators working together
absolutely.
in order to get the kind of have the kind of clout with REOC that we need. Otherwise, there's just no oversight over REOC. We don't have any authority. I'm sorry to say, and I don't mean to insult you, Faye, but I'm sure, as you know, our REOC representatives and Catherine, that you're serving at the pleasure of the governor. And so we need to make sure that the people that are in state government are working together. And there is no greater triumvirate than Rebecca Seawright, Liz Kruger, and Julie Menon. They all have big muscles. and
absolutely right.
Yeah, they're the dynamic trio.
Well, I think the institutional memory also of, people that came up through the ranks is very important. Like like what goes on in the community board is known to Rebecca Seawright, to Liz Kruger, not so much to Julie Menon, but she's learning. And you know, that's really important that we've all worked together for a very long time.
Yeah. So folks, I think that's it for the night. Are we good? Have we covered it all? Okay, well, let's just go back and enjoy your lentil soup.
See you Thursday.
Okay, thank you folks for coming and in solidarity. Thank you.